And then for our purposes here, you know, I wanted to bring your attention to it. As we get to practicing now again, once again, I'm going to ask you to really focus your attention on the sound, your own soft ujjayi, and the sensation and the rhythm of your breath. And the process, as I'll now segue into this, the process is, as we look at the anatomy and the physiology, when we did our 3-part diaphragmatic breathing, I was helping you to identify that there are 3 areas that I want you to pay attention to just because they're fairly easy to. But they're not the only places that are moving when we breathe. Belly, ribs, and chest. The anatomy, the diaphragm, originates from this rib cage and zips around and attaches to the thoracic spine, you know, so back here in the front and here, and now I'll get into camera so people can see this for later. And so that connection and the muscle as it connects to bone, and then the connective tissue, the fascia, you know, we were talking about myofascial release and craniosacral therapies, everything's connected. So we have this beautiful structure, this diaphragm that divides the thoracic cavity or cage from the abdominal cavity. And it has 3 apertures, 3 holes within it. If you've ever thought about it, oh my gosh, you know, this muscle is dividing from the lungs and the heart and the structures, and then is dividing from the stomach and the guts and intestines. But our circulation has to make it from the heart to the legs, and there's a hole for the aorta to actually go down through, so that blood can go down here. There's another hole where the inferior vena cava, the big vein that brings blood flow back from the lower extremities and the lower pelvic area up back into our circulation, to the lungs, and to recirculate to the heart. And then there's another hole for the esophagus, because when we eat something, we've got to, you know, swallow it, and then it's got to make it through the diaphragm. Have you ever considered that idea? And so it's like, oh wow, okay, so diaphragm is, you know, the autonomic nervous system will automatically tell, you can give a little electrical impulse, and it causes the diaphragm to contract. So that when it contracts, this beautiful muscle that originates at the bones but attaches into what's called the central tendon. It is one of, I think there's another muscle, and it's a small one that's over here, one of the only muscles that originates at a bone but doesn't attach at a bone, it attaches within itself. And so, and it's just, you know, this central tendon, and it's just, and I do this because it's just, I love the diaphragm, it's just gorgeous, it's beautiful. And so, when your aorta and your inferior vena cava and your esophagus are, in essence, traveling right through, and when the diaphragm, imagine this is the diaphragm, are you with me? I'm trying. And here's the aorta, as an example, that big tube of blood that's going down. So when we're breathing, we in, and this is my head, and that's my feet. And so when I
found this video that we did in our 200 hour of the diaphragm, and I love it. And so
that video, and that's okay. And that video is one of the videos that I use, and it's fantastic. You'll get a really good visual. And so what happens, yes, is that there's this inhale, right? Diaphragm going down to the belly. Here's the feet. Exhale. It relaxes and it goes up. Inhale. Exhale. So everybody put your left hand out, put your right hand here. Give it a nice little hug and just inhale and exhale. And inhale. And the inferior vena cava are also feeling this. And so is the esophagus, the tube that brings food from your mouth to your stomach. What do you think, what kind of effect do you think that has on those structures?
It's soothing.
It's massaging and soothing, stimulating, and Did you ever think that your diaphragm was massaging your insides like that? And the diaphragm up top on the superior, right, closer to the head, or the higher, the superior aspect of the diaphragm on this side is woven and meshed in so beautifully around the cardiac sac, your heart muscle that lies in this sac. And that cardiac sac that protects and, holds the heart is intimately woven into the diaphragm, so that when the diaphragm contracts, it goes down, there's this massaging that's happening. Same thing. And then the gut is being massaged, and there's just this thing. And so, I like to share that with you because there is a definite effect. Your breathing practice, when I tell you the only thing you have to do is breathe, and you then go out to share with your students, just breathe. It's not being wimpy. It's powerful, powerful, powerful medicine. The effect of massage on the internal organs in itself, and encouraging the parasympathetics, all of your internal organs to be vital, and it's amazing. And then you have the attachment and the effect on all of the joints and muscles and bones around you. So the fact that when you're breathing and the rib cage will gently expand. And we've talked, made mention, and I know you're familiar with, we're not asking for, diaphragmatic, if we can do it, makes this happen somewhat. And we relax the neck and shoulders. There are accessory muscles that will help us do that, and we don't really want to use them for that because it's not efficient. But here, when we inhale, expanding, and exhale, now think about your ribs. Your ribs are attached at the thoracic spine. They zip around and they then connect, and there is a sternum and there's cartilage that connect. And so when you start to breathe, you're moving these structures, you begin to very gently mobilize the spine. Ever thought about that? And you're mobilizing. This is one of the ways, by awareness of the breath, that I begin when someone is in so much pain in there, and they've got back pain, and I'm trying to get them to come on board onto a practice, an action, an exercise. Then I will, whatever position they are in, sitting, reclined, lying, I'll try to get them to start to breathe, because we are starting the beginning of spinal mobilization, gentle mobilization of the spine. And then I'm looking, can you do diaphragmatic breathing? I'm also helping to encourage the relaxation response, and then getting them supported so that they can feel safe. The knees will be bent. It makes it easier for things to move. And then this gentle movement of the rib cage starts to move the spine.